All right, let's do it live on a Football Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. Merely Bo, the great Z, and look at all of this.
Oh, baby.
Look at all this stuff.
Dog treats, Cleveland treats. Brian Sipe here. You got David Njoku there.
You got the Chief there. You got the Hoff there. You got Eric Metcalf, I believe, there. Yep. I think there's a Greg Pruitt right here somewhere.
Yeah.
Look at all these goodies. Is it true that we are giving these away to the first caller?
No.
That's a double there.
No.
No, it is not true that we are giving these away to the first
It's not
caller.
true.
That'd
be news to me.
That'd be fun. Yeah, we haven't taken calls in forever. Thanks to Primetime Sports and Framing, the preferred framing partner of your Cleveland Browns. Mystery boxes are in studio today. We opened these earlier and got signed items from Joe Thomas, Eric Metcalf, David Njoku, custom tearaway tandem jersey featuring Greg Pruitt and Cleo Miller, and more. If you're headed to the game this Sunday against the Chiefs, be sure to check out their booths outside sections 101, 117, 138, and within the 7-Up City Club to learn more. So there you go.
Pretty cool stuff, man.
There you go. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you? My dad not happy. Niner season over.
It's bad ball. It was. I stopped at halftime. I'm like, I love both these teams. I love both these coaches. They're usually two of my two favorite teams to watch play that I don't have anything invested in because I like how they go about their business. But I don't know if it was the combination of the rain or the fact that they have the answer to each other's test because they're so damn familiar with each other. But it was a tough watch. Stafford in the first half, wildly erratic. Inaccurate. I don't know what it was. And then the same with Purdy as it went along. So it was just bad ball. And right now, there's so much football that we've been consuming since the beginning of August that, like, my threshold for bad ball is a lot less than it is 2 months ago.
Early. Sure.
So, like, I know I'm going to watch a ton of football this weekend. I didn't need it.
I watched that game, and I couldn't help but think, boy, this would have been a lot more entertaining in a dome.
Also true. It's true. Yeah. I gotta move a little. I need a little
very
room.
Crowded.
I need a little room to operate.
I feel very
I'm proud of these guys.
claustrophobic.
I think they did a great job, but I gotta have some desk room here, Gibby. A little bit of desk room.
Help us out, Gibby.
You know, you gotta
You'll
have
be
a
fine.
little
Zagura,
room.
you walked
little
in
room
at
to operate.
12:59.
Nobody knew that. Prepared. He's ready to go.
That's not even true. I've done an outfit change since I've been here. When I arrived, well before 12.
Okay, you walked.
We
into
talking about
the
practice?
studio.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We talking
You
about
got to
practice?
know in advance. You got to sit down. You got to get a feel for things.
For the record, Gibby, G-Man, did I not comment on the crowded nature of this desk earlier?
Yeah, he shook his head. No,
No, he did
it's not on camera. Didn't happen.
No, he. Jeez Louise, what's happening? What is happening here?
Just getting warmed up today.
I want to thank Cooper Kupp because I played against him in many of my.
Oh, baby, that's good for you.
It couldn't have been better, to be perfectly honest with you. It was
Probably a lot of Nakuas, a lot of Cups out there.
Oh yeah.
Probably some Kittles out there. A few.
I played
Devos,
against Kittle.
Some
Kittle
Purdy's.
I mean, there wasn't a single good.
Yeah.
Nakua was still solid.
Okay, but like no touchdowns.
No, there wasn't one in the game
At all.
First game all year.
Yeah.
A lot of people milling about solving problems, hopefully.
Christmas is coming quick, buddy.
Too quick, dude.
Yeah.
Too quick. We're 13 days. We're 12 days away.
When you get Thanksgiving that late,
It's too much. I need to
November,
savor this time.
it starts to sprint through on you.
I want to savor it.
I had an
I'm
extraordinary.
Buddy the Elf.
It's funny you bring him up. So that's what got me off the football last night. The ball wasn't good enough, and it was on the Amazon
Prime
app.
Yep.
So when there would be a commercial, I'm like, ugh, I'm not sitting through this. I'm not. I'm out. So I flipped back to the cable, and on one of the usually the cable channel commercials, they line up to where they're commercial at the same time by design. For whatever reason, last night it didn't on whatever two channels it was on. Buddy the Elf was on one, and Lampoon's Vacation was on the other. So in the way that it worked,
Clark Griswold, last true
for an hour and 15 minutes, I was able to go from one into a commercial, the other one into a commercial, back to the other one seamlessly. So I watched them both at once.
What a treat.
Flawless.
I mean, so good.
I mean, Stafford and Purdy weren't giving me that.
No, they were not.
They weren't giving me Buddy.
No.
Santa. So
Man.
good.
So good. So good. Jimmy Kahn disgusted with Will Ferrell, and yet had to admit it was a genius, and it was.
Had to. Yeah.
He had to do it.
I would not want to play the Rams if I were in the NFC, though, because they are finding ways to win, and they do know how to win.
They're 6-2
They got
in
a
their
couple of
last
weapons.
8.
Yeah.
They're formidable. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 seed right now, I mean, is that where they would be if it started? They'd be the 7?
I don't think
Or
so.
No, they're out right now.
They're
'cause
out right now.
All three of the – they probably
They
have
need
to
to
win
catch
the division.
they need to catch the Commies or catch the Seahawks for the division. You're exactly right.
Yeah. Seahawks have Packers this weekend, so they will be rooting heavy for the Packers. They get to 8-6. 11-6 would do it, I would think, for sure. Oh, great.
You're saying if they went the whole
Saying if they
ran the
play
table,
the string out and get in there at 11-6, there's no question you make postseason. So the NFC playoff picture after last night's events, they're only a half game out of Washington. Washington is 8-5 at the moment. They are currently the 7. Washington's a big favorite this weekend. They're at New Orleans. I think they're 7.5 points.
Yep.
But they're a half game behind Washington for the final spot right now. Atlanta has kind of all been. I mean, they at 6-7
completely.
Yeah.
All right.
Seattle is 8-5, but they host the Packers this week.
Seattle's Final Four: Green Bay,
Okay.
Minnesota,
Okay.
at Chicago, at the Rams.
Well, it could come down to that then.
So that could be Sunday Night Football. That could be a win and get in.
Winning
game.
in. I just pulled up the commies. They're at Saints, Dub, Eagles at home, Falcons at home, at Cowboys. So that's pretty doable for them. I would think that it's probably more likely that they catch Seattle than that they.
Bucks are pretty smooth sailing. If this is their toughest game this week at Chargers, then they're at Dallas, home Carolina, home Saints, Falcons in that one because that's the only other one, and the Falcons just need to tie them.
Yeah.
Falcons are at Raiders. So if the Chargers win and the Falcons win,
Yeah.
the Falcons would be in. Their final 3 would be home Giants, at Commies, home Panthers. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could go 4-0 here either.
Yeah. No, it's not.
I think if Tampa beats the Chargers, they're in.
The Rams have won 7 of 9. They're at Jets next week, and then Cards, Seahawks. So they should win the next 2 to get to 10-6, and then that would come to them home against Seattle.
While you have that up there, who won the first Rams?
Ram it.
Okay.
26-20 at Seattle. So they would have tie breaks too.
Yep.
That's probably the straightest path is the Seattle path, because they would have the tie. If Green Bay beats Seattle, which is absolutely in play this weekend, then the Rams would have that spot.
Yeah.
That's where you go. The Kansas City Chiefs, they are not going to have to worry about the postseason because they've already clinched their division. They are 12-1. They will be here on Sunday. The final practice of the week is actually happening right now. It's wrapping up in about 20 minutes or so. Not practicing today. Chief is again out. David Njoku. Joel Bitonio is back at practice. We expect that final injury report around 1:35. We will take Coach's presser when he comes to the podium. No Chief all week.
No, and I would expect him to be ruled out then. Obviously, it's good news that Bitonio is back out there today. That would bode well for him to play. He's a guy that needs to practice every day. We all know that. So if that's happened, if that's the case, then I think we're in pretty good shape offensively, with the exception of obviously the people that are on IR. And then I would think the Chief might be the one guy that you don't have the benefit of having.
All right, there was one piece of drama that happened post-game yesterday, and you probably watched the whole game, so maybe you were aware in real time. But Devontre Campbell took himself out of the game in the third quarter because, quote, he didn't want to play. That's from Kyle Shanahan, said this in his post-game presser. So the rest of the team was then forced to deal with this when they went to the podium. Can you give some – I think because Greenlaw came back? That was the deal? Like he lost his spot to a guy who returned. He's like, I don't want to play.
But then Greenlaw didn't finish the game, right?
Right.
And so he was just saying he didn't want to go in?
If I'm not good enough to start, I'm not good enough to play, I think is the connotation. So Kyle outs him in his availability, and then the players are responding to it following that, and it started with George Kittle. Here's George Kittle on that decision.
People are going through random things off the field. I can't speak on that. Whatever his decision was, it wasn't for this organization. It wasn't for this team. And that's on him. So not very happy about it. I would have something to say. I wish I would have heard about it on the field, but I didn't. Is that the reason we lost? Absolutely not. But you don't really, it's hard to win football games when someone doesn't want to play football.
Yeah. Tarvarius Ward also responded to this. Let's hear from him.
If he didn't want to play, he shouldn't have dressed out. He could have told him that before the game. So I feel like there was some sucker that he did. Definitely hurt the team because, D went down and we needed a linebacker, and I think Flan was banged up too. So for him to do that, that's some sucker stuff to me, in my opinion. Like, probably going to get cut soon, so, it is what it is with that.
He's probably cut today, don't you think?
Yeah. Kyle Shanahan is not playing that. No, he is definitely cut today. I think that's 100% fair and justified. Listen, Kittle has not won a Super Bowl, but obviously the Niners have been to multiple Super Bowls. Tarvarius Ward has won a Super Bowl. He was with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
There's no place for that kind of nonsense. None. Zero. It's craziness. And Devondre Campbell, correct me if I'm wrong, in my mind, I feel like he was a Pro Bowler with the Packers. Am I making that up?
I would be silly for me to comment. That would be out of my depth to remember if he was a Pro Bowler.
All right, one-time first-team All-Pro, and it was with the Packers, in 2021.
Good memory out of you.
146 tackles that year.
I think it's one of those things, and obviously your pops.
That's 100% Madden that I remember that. That's the only reason.
Yeah, that's wild. The thing that is the reality of this particular 49ers campaign is you can only have so much injury. And they've had so much that you just, no matter how good you are, you just can't take on that type of injury.
Okay. Christian McCaffrey's played, 2 games?
Yeah,
Trent Williams is out. Bosa's missed time. Fred Warner's playing with a broken ankle. Greenlaw basically missed the whole season until now. Hufunga's missed the whole season, and Ayuk's missed the whole season.
Yeah.
Not the whole, I'd realize not exactly the whole season.
No, but mostly.
Those are 7. There are 22 guys
right.
on offense and defense. Those are 7 of your top 10
Those are important
players.
Ones, brother.
7 of your top 10 players on your roster.
Yeah. 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 Can't do it.
You can't do it.
Can't survive through it.
No. And it's funny. You got people like my dad. Then Mike Silver wrote a hit piece on Kyle. What's he supposed to do?
That's like an old media trope. That ignore what has actually happened and just someone's got to get fired. You got to blame somebody.
Kyle's not going anywhere. First of all,
no. But I mean, that is very much an old media thing of season went bad, got to fire somebody.
That's Gibbe talk.
Gibbe talk. Those are your hot topics of the day, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, our good buddy Adam Teicher covers the Chiefs for ESPN, and he will join us. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And the future of recycling is here. Rumpke Waste Recycling leading the way. $100 million recycling facility, North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center of its kind. It's built right here in the Buckeye State. Learn more by visiting rumpke.com. Time to head behind enemy lines. One of our favorites. Chiefs ESPN NFL Nation writer Adam Teicher joins us on the Twisted Tea Hotline, presented by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. Adam, thank you so much for the time. Well, typically when we have you on and we talk about Kansas City, we talk about this prolific offensive explosion. This has been a different kind of year. They are 12-1, a ton of one-score games, incredibly clutch, but offensively it's not this overwhelming thing that we've seen historically from Mahomes and from Reed. What has it been like to observe this team win in so many different ways this season?
Yeah, it's been different. You know, they weren't great defensively offensively last year either. I mean, they struggled for most of the year, figured it out in the playoffs, but were really struggling most of the year. But the difference was they were playing well defensively last year. They're not a very good defensive team this year, and so it has. I mean, they've really had to scrap and fight and go to the end. I mean, they've won 12 games. They're 12-1. 6 of their wins have been decided on the last play of the game, one way or the other. Whatever, you know, there was the Baltimore receiver, Isaiah Lively, stepping out of bounds by a couple inches. Otherwise, the Ravens would have beat the Chiefs, but he didn't get his foot in bounds, so the Chiefs ended up winning. That was the last play of the game. Chiefs ended up winning. There's been 3 walk-off field goals by 3 different kickers. They blocked a field goal. They scored a touchdown in overtime. So they're doing a lot of things really well at the end of games, and they're finding a way to get it done. So yeah, it is kind of crazy how this has happened this year.
Dating back to last year, 15 straight one-score games they have won. That is the longest streak in the history of the National Football League. I saw another stat that of the 221 teams that have ever won 12 games in a season, they have the lowest average margin of victory. But it obviously does not faze them to be in these situations. And do they feel like they just have a magic? We're going to block a kick if we need to block a kick to beat the Denver Broncos. We're going to make the play we need to make to beat whomever the opponent is. Is there a sense that, you know, they have that, or do they feel like they're just starting to ramp up? Now, Mahomes is obviously playing a lot better since the acquisition of DeAndre Hopkins, not turning it over, but do they feel like they're ramping up, or do they just feel like they have that mystique right now?
Yeah, they feel like they're the ones who are going to be making the plays at the end, and you know, it has been a crazy phenomenon. They're right. I mean, they are the ones making the plays at the end, and it's you know, sometimes it's luck. You know, if Isaiah Lively gets his foot down, you know, we're not maybe talking about them having this great streak going on. You know, the Raiders fumbled when the quarterback wasn't looking. Next to last play of the game, the Raiders are setting up for the winning field goal last week, and the quarterback's not looking, and the snap comes, the Chiefs recover the fumble. So, you know, there's some things that are a little bit lucky in there as well, but, you know, the Chiefs are good enough to take advantage of all these things, and that's what they point to, that, you know, you can't leave them an opening and expect to beat them. You know, it was interesting. The Chiefs played the Buffalo Bills a few weeks ago, and Sean McDermott was the guy who kind of got it. He was the one who wasn't going to give the Chiefs a chance to win the game at the end. You remember there was that fourth down where Josh Allen had that running touchdown. He went for it because the situation called for a field goal. They were up by I think it was 2 points at the time. The situation kind of called for a field goal, but he said, no, we're not going to give the ball back to Mahomes with a chance to win the game. And so they ended up scoring a touchdown on that play, ended up beating the Chiefs by 9 points. So that's kind of what you're looking at there.
One of the reasons they're in these games, and Bo talked about it off the top, is just the offense, and it's a change. Patrick Mahomes, for his career, averages 290 yards. That's the most anybody's averaged passing per game. This year he's at 245, the lowest of his career. Kelsey's averaging 8.5 yards a catch, almost 4 below his career average. Is it the way teams are playing them? I mean, even Worthy, who was drafted, really to take the top off the defense, is averaging 11 yards a catch. What's the biggest difference in this passing game and really kind of what you would call the lack of explosiveness in it?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it is the pass protection just hasn't been very good. They've, particularly at left tackle, they've really struggled.
Yep.
At left tackle, they've started 3 different guys this year. The first 2 were benched, and they brought in the veteran DJ Humphries last week. He started for the first time, and he wasn't any better. He's hadn't played in almost a year, so it might have been unfair for the Chiefs to throw him in there. But they've really struggled there, and that's part of the deal. Mahomes just doesn't have the time a lot of times to get the ball down the field, and then when he has had time, there's just been some weird things that have happened. Receivers stepping out of bounds early, it's just crazy stuff that you don't expect from an Andy Reid coach team. Usually they have the details nailed down a little better than that. So, it's just been one thing leading to another. They were running the ball really well for a little while, and that's not been as effective lately. So it's just been kind of a crazy deal where nothing seems to be working consistently. And but the big problem is the pass protection for sure.
In terms of this team kind of rounding itself into form, Z mentioned earlier, Mahomes has gotten so much better as the season has gone along. Some interceptions first half of the year; those have kind of dried up a little bit. But also in terms of health-wise, Pacheco back, and obviously we're very familiar with Kareem too. Kareem gave them the punch when they needed to. In terms of rounding towards the postseason, are they starting to kind of hone into what they need to be for that time of year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can see, I think there's hope for them offensively, if that's what you're asking. I think they can get to more like the team they really wanted to be. Hollywood Brown, I was just got back from practice. Hollywood Brown is out there for the first time since he got injured back in August. He's practiced for the first time. Now, we won't play on Sunday, but that's part of it. Maybe if he can get healthy, that they can have another reliable big play type receiver. So that may help. Pacheco coming back certainly helps. If DJ Humphrey can get healthy and he can be the left tackle they need so badly on that left side, then then you maybe can see some possibilities for the Chiefs offensively. I think it's possible. No one remembers this now, but last year the Chiefs were just really sluggish offensively during the regular season, and they had a late season game against the Raiders at Arrowhead, and both Raiders touchdowns in that game came when the Chiefs had the ball. There was a fumble return and an interception return, and no one thought of the Raiders ended up winning the game, and no one thought of the Chiefs as a Super Bowl team then. But they just sort of snapped out of it at that point, won their last 2 regular season games, and then 4 in the playoffs. So I'm never going to say no about these guys. Yeah. They seem to don't give up on them too early is I guess the best advice I'd have. Sometimes you watch them play and it's hard to see it though. It's hard to see how they're going to fix all their problems enough to beat 3 or 4 good teams in the postseason, but they've done it before, so we'll see if they can get there again.
No one's going to feel sorry for them.
No, I mean they
still have the wizard at quarterback, and they're 12-1. We're sitting here talking, and this is the crazy thing, right, Adam? Like we're talking about them, and we're saying, well, then it's not quite what they used to. In the meantime, they're 12-1. They've got 1 loss at Buffalo. That's it. And they're big favorites coming in here with this one, and so that's part of it as well. If there is something from their perspective to be a little bit concerned about, this game against Cleveland, usually when teams play us, it's Miles is kind of the thing that he can be a bit of a game wrecker. Yeah. What is kind of your view of that matchup? Yeah,
I think that's to me the one of the paths for the Browns to win the game on Sunday is can the Chiefs, can they take advantage? Can he and the Browns take advantage of the Chiefs, this shaky pass protection they've had? I don't know what the Chiefs will have cooked up for him on Sunday, but it certainly wasn't very good against the Chargers, and it's been really noticeable lately. Mahomes has been sacked, 13 times, I think, in the last 3 games and 23 in the last 6. He's already been sacked 35 times this season, which is way blown past his previous high, which was 28. So, and we're not even all the way through the season yet. So it's been a real problem for them, and they haven't been able to use his talents to the fullest this year because of this issue here. So we'll see what they plan for Garrett and the Browns on Sunday. But I feel like that's one of the areas that if the Browns can find a way to exploit that, they could win the game Sunday.
The other thing that's been the case since Jameis has been the starting quarterback here, and he will throw it to the other team from time to time. That's something that's part of it too. But he will make you defend every blade of grass. In terms of the match, Jerry Jeudy, one of the hottest receivers in the league. In terms of that matchup, what do you see there? That pass rush / pass defense of Kansas City up against Winston's ability to throw the ball down the field.
Well, the pass rush is the opposite problem for the Chiefs. They've been so good the last few years getting after the quarterback, but not this year. They're one of the worst teams in the league in pressure and sacks. So it was last week's game was one of the more dramatic games I've seen in terms of one quarterback for the Chargers. Justin Herbert was able to kind of sit back there in the pocket most of the night and kind of do what he wanted to do, and had plenty of time, and the other was under pressure almost from the time he got the ball, Mahomes. So, Chiefs like to blitz a lot, and they're blitzing a lot, but they're not getting home with it a lot. And when they only rush 4, boy, they're one of the worst teams in the league in getting pressure when they rush 4. So, I don't know what the Chiefs have cooked up defensively for Winston and the Browns, but it wasn't very good the other night against the Chargers, and then it's been pretty leaky on the back end. They lost one of their starting corners for the year with an injury in the middle of the year, and Jalen Watson's, and he's out, and they've struggled at the other that corner spot. Since then, their safeties have struggled to cover, so it's been kind of a mess back there, and it's amazing they've really only given up 17 points in each of the last 2 games, because you watch the game and you would have figured it would have been a little higher than that.
Talking to the great Adam Teicher, ESPN on the Chiefs beat. Adam, get you out of here on this one. Take Buffalo and obviously the Chiefs out of it. Other than those two, as you look around kind of the landscape of the AFC, where are the threats? Who are the threats to derail this Chiefs other than Buffalo?
Well, I don't think the Broncos are going to win the AFC, but they're good enough to beat the Chiefs. I think that's a team that I've kind of got my eye on. I don't think they're good enough to win 3 games against good teams and get to the playoffs or get to the Super Bowl. But can they give anybody, and particularly the Chiefs, a problem in a 1-game setting? Yeah, absolutely. They could have and probably should have won when they were here, the Broncos, a few weeks ago. And so I don't think that's a team the Chiefs really want to see again. They scored, I think it was 24 points in 2 games against the Broncos last year, and they had 16 this year. I mean, they just can't score against that team. So, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender or anything like that, but I think that's a team the Chiefs would just as soon avoid in the postseason for sure.
Great talking to you as always, my friend. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time today.
All right, anytime, guys.
All right, that's our great friend Adam Teicher at ESPN. He covers the Chiefs, one of the best in the business, and has been so for a very long time. Adam joined on the Twisted Tea Hotline, presented by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. Coach Stefanski ought to be at the podium on the other side of this quick timeout. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Coach should be at the podium here momentarily. Coming up later in the program, get you your scores, your over-unders. You have those things to look forward to, which are very, very nice. Your keys to victory as well. Also, Z sitting down with Juan Thornhill, so you have that to look forward to. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Well, I don't like this yo-yoing weather-wise. I'm not crazy about it. It's cold, and then it's going to rain this weekend. Going to be like 50-some on Monday. Mess. Yeah. Not a fan of that.
No, none of that.
I can tell you that the guys are in the locker room because I can hear them below me.
I was going to say, what am I hearing?
Yeah, they're in the locker. You can hear the locker room from below.
Yeah, I'm like, what is that noise? It sounded like a dull roar.
Yeah. I can tell you they're there. I can confirm that.
Yeah, quickly they were outside today. A brisk little practice.
You got to be. You're going to play in the elements.
You're going to play in the elements the rest of the way here.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you are going to be, some significant weather here over the next few weeks.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Cincinnati next Saturday or next Sunday.
Yeah.
Dolphins here, then at Ravens. Yeah, it's all cold from here on out.
Correct.
I mean, honestly, it's been this way. I mean, Steelers. Because at Denver was nice, though, right? Weren't you guys in like the 50s, 40s?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
nice.
It was Monday night, so it gets a little chillier, but still not awful.
Yeah.
Some interesting news down south, speaking of
Go
the
ahead.
Cincinnati Bengals, from Kelsey Conway.
Okay.
T. Higgins, yesterday, I don't know if you knew this or not, fired his agent.
I wonder if that's what Burrow was referring to when he said.
He has a new agent.
Is it Drew?
No.
Who is it?
It's Jamar Chase's agent.
Huh. That's a hell of a power play for that guy.
Rocky Arseneau, maybe?
Arsenault, maybe?
I don't know. Arceneaux.
Yeah, Arsenault. So he's a Louisiana dude.
Also, Jamar Chase's agent. He'll now negotiate Chase and Higgins' next contracts this offseason.
You want to talk about having a franchise over the barrel?
Uh-huh. Time to pay the piper.
Man, that's a mess. Now they can franchise Jamar. Maybe that's what Burrow meant. Maybe they'll franchise Jamar and then extend Higgins, but then Jamar is going to be pissed.
Correct.
Wow. That's a very tough spot for them because they're not liquid. That ownership group isn't liquid. They are not one that loves to spend. And when you couple that with the fact that you're going to have to – that the quarterback wants you to pay not one but both.
And the clock's ticking on the quarterback's contract.
No, his is done.
Yeah, but hasn't it already started, or is this still the original?
I don't know. I thought he was set for – I thought it – I don't know. I can't recall.
All right,
I know they got the deal done, but I can't remember if it's if they're already paying on that or not. It's interesting. I just was looking at this because there's so many of these games are going to be in inclement weather around the league. We saw one last night as well. Like the get-in price for NFL stadiums this weekend is next to nothing. It's not just here. Like here, it's $26. I just picked up a secondary market. It's $21 in Nashville. $27 in New Orleans. You can walk in. Giants Ravens is $34. Panthers are up to $62. $18 in Jacksonville for Jets and Jaguars. You can get in the gate. 66 in Houston, 70 in Denver. The winning teams obviously are more. Obviously, the toughest ticket, most expensive ticket of the week is Bills at Lions. Cheapest ticket there is $307. You can get into Pittsburgh and Philly for $218, and then Patriots cards $20. Bucks, Chargers, $25. Packers, Seahawks, $155. So they're still locked in there. The Monday nighters, Minnesota, you can get in for as cheap as $109, and Falcons and Raiders in Las Vegas, you can get in for $76. But there's half of the ones I mentioned you can get in for under $30.
Stefanski at the podium.
So, including ours, good seats if you want them. Coach Stefanski now at the podium. Let's have a listen.
Excited for
You're down.
opportunity in front of our fans against the two-time Super Bowl champs. So we're excited about it.
How was Joel moving around, okay?
Yeah, first time this weekend I'm out there, so moved around okay, but just has to see how he responds over the next 48 hours.
About said and the decision to roll him out?
It's just not all the way through the protocol just yet.
The door is open.
I'm sorry?
So the door is open with Njoku then?
Yes. Yes.
With a guy like David who gets so many targets, especially lately, if he can't go, how do you kind of replace those targets?
I think that's part of football, as you guys know, is you design plays to where one guy's the primary, but there's 4 other eligibles on those plays. So I think it's our job as coaches to design the system so that you put player X or Y or Z at that primary position, but you trust that the quarterback makes the proper decision based on how the defense deploys on that play. So for us, regardless of who's in there, we expect every single one of those guys to do their job and potentially get the ball.
Did we get hurt in practice today?
Who's that?
Cleek Hudson.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Still for Hall and Harden to come up tomorrow?
Yes.
Jimmy, at the owners' meetings, told ESPN that he's got the right pieces in place with you and Andrew. What's your reaction to that, and does he have the same discussions privately?
I keep all of our discussions with ownership or Andrew or anybody private. I will tell you that, between D, Jimmy, JW, and Whitney, they've been constantly supportive throughout my entire time here, our time here. They give us the resources we need. Very supportive.
Tommy Reese was linked to the North Carolina job. I know you don't want to get into speculation, but for a young guy, he's had a lot of high-profile jobs. Like, what makes him good?
Well, I think one of the most high-profile jobs he had was quarterback at Notre Dame. So that's just comes with the territory. Obviously, he's a coach we think highly of. Other people think highly of. So.
Good.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
You're up.
Bit of a short one there, Gibbe. Like a 5-minute session.
Yeah. I
guess
was not ready for that.
No, I guess that's what happens when you're – look, the record is what it is, but, it was quick.
All right, so Browns rule out –
Is that 5 minutes? Not even?
I don't think we were 5 minutes. I think that's a generous
not even.
number.
Was it 4? It was like 5, 6 questions?
Yeah.
And very short answers, too.
Yeah.
Not having any of it. Cedric Tillman out, didn't clear concussion protocol. Now, I find that interesting because he practiced in a limited role for 3 days this week.
That is interesting, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not the doctors. And I'm not. No, look, we need him back. We need him of the best sound mind and body. That's all that matters is getting him healthy. So Tillman's out, Njoku's out. It says Njoku hamstring, Bitonio, Hall, Harden all listed as questionable, but Njoku not.
Well, no, even Kevin said there was still a path for David to play this Sunday. I don't know if that's gamesmanship or not, but it's rare to see somebody not practice all week.
Friday, especially on Friday.
Yeah, and then pop back into the lineup.
Yeah, I know Bitonio's dealing with a back, and he's doing everything he can, and that's one of those where if he practices on Friday, you're good.
Yeah.
And he returned to practice today. So
this is the thing that based on that availability, where we are with this season, it's you watched Hard Knocks. That's why I think Jameis is the perfect quarterback at the perfect time for this team. We've been saying this for a while. Jameis is fun. Jameis will rally guys. He makes you defend every blade of grass. He keeps everybody who goes out for a route engaged. He allows the offensive line to know what they're trying to protect. Because otherwise, and we're going to have to fight this anyway, there is a playing out the string feel to this. There just is. You're not playing for anything tangible. We saw in Hard Knocks a couple of weeks ago when coach is like, look, you want to be in the playoffs, you're in the playoffs. Well, you can't do that anymore. That's cooked. And you got a team coming in here at 12-1. The weather's going to be brutal. And so the enthusiasm just isn't there. You're getting close to the holiday season, all of it. So I do think the one thing that saves this from going down that road entirely, and I think you're still going to have to fight it, is the fact that Jameis, his teammates love him, he gets people fired up, and all of those things matter. And that's probably the one saving grace in terms of where we are at the moment with this team. From the Podium is always presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package A for the ultimate game day. We'll do a little over-unders coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Filter, the official gutter guardian of Cleveland Browns. Go to leaffilter.com/go Browns to schedule your free gutter inspection and to receive your exclusive promo offer, or call 833-LEAF-FILTER today. Time for a little segment we like to call Over and Under.
Oh, baby. You just got me coming right back in. It's just
You're right back in, baby.
I'll give you a minute.
You got...
I feel like this is Gibbe scheduling here.
Coming off of last week, where Zagura with a one-game lead, so you went 2-3. Gibbe 1-4.
We don't need to say those numbers. We just say that Zagura made up a game.
You made up
and
a
now
game.
We're tied.
It's fair. You are now 2 games.
We'll give the scores.
You're
those
both
are good.
2 games over 500.
By the way, you're welcome for starting the week off right.
Yeah,
a little Thursday night delight.
Actually gave it to you. There you go. You're a win.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Buy another mattress to stack your money in. All right. I know the weather's going to be bad, so this one's a little tricky. This week, so we'll go ahead with it, though.
We're not afraid.
Zagura, you're going first on this one.
Because I won last week.
That's right. Winners go first. We are talking about passing yardage.
I guess he's back in your good graces.
For Patrick's Mahomes. And the number we are looking for is 248.5 for Patrick Mahomes.
It's going to be a big fat under, Bob.
Under for Dr. Z. Under 248.5 for Mahomes. Gibbe?
In my mind, the number I immediately came up with was 221, so I will take the under.
Under as well. So well under for both of you. All right, very good. Next!
Over, under.
Looking for Jameis Winston completion percentage. Completion percentage for Jameis Winston. Much better at home than it is on the road since he's been the starter here. So this is a home game, but inclement weather. The number we're looking for, Gibbe, is 60.5 for Jameis Winston at home on Sunday against Kansas City. 60.5.
God, the elements are not great, but we got to throw the football.
Will we throw it accurately? Over for Gibbe. Over 60.5. Dr. Z?
There's Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, there he is.
What is going on right now?
Same. Over.
Over.
On the season, they're giving up about 66% completions.
There you go. Over. Next!
Over, under.
We have the privilege to watch two gold jacket defensive linemen in this game.
Yes.
We are going to use pressures, not sacks. Pressures. Miles, over under. Chris Jones, pressures. Dr. Z. Miles has more on the season, but not by much.
We have a good interior of our offensive line. Their weakness is their
left tackle.
Exterior is their tackles. I'm going to go with the reigning defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett.
Over. Gibbe?
Can you repeat the question?
Miles or Chris Jones over under pressures?
He's back, baby.
He's back. Man, where's he? It's good to see him.
I'm going to go with Miles with the more pressure.
So you guys have gone chalk to this point. You're all the same to this point. All right.
Don't throw your hand in
Next.
the air.
Over, under.
We are looking for sacks plus turnovers. Sacks plus turnovers on a wet field. And the number is Zagura's favorite, 3.5.
Over.
Give it.
Over.
Same.
All right. Looks like we won't have much movement, if any, at all. Next.
Over, under.
The actual Dr. Z, 43.5.
God.
Chiefs' last two scores are 19-17, 19-17. Last two wins when they play bad teams. We're bad. We're 3-10. What do you want?
That was offensive.
No, I mean, we are who we are.
Fine.
You are what your record says.
Fine. I say we're a good team. Over.
You can't position it as such.
I just did.
Now you're going to make me the. All right, fine.
Why?
You can
win
the under.
You can win
I'm
a
going
game
under.
19-17 against them.
That's what I mean. I
It
have
doesn't have to be
23-20
scoring.
Browns.
23-20?
Yep.
So it'd be just under.
Under the hook.
For Gibbe. Do you really? Put the Gibbe estate on 23-20 Browns?
I literally I'm rattling numbers.
12-1.
And everything else that Zagura does.
I mean, they're 12-1. What are we doing?
All they do is win. That would be, by the way, break a 15-game winning streak in one-score games of Gibbe's.
Records are made to be broken.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I just think you are what you are at this point in the season. And so what you hope for is that you can spring an upset. You hope that you can play the role of spoiler. And I think the job of this football team is for those who are going down there to the game, to put on a show. Entertain. That's the job. You know, you want to be entertained.
I want a competitive, close game in the fourth quarter. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Let's get in the pig slop. Let's get muddy.
What are we talking about? Do you guys have is it 40 and rain still?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what we are?
That hasn't changed one iota.
Has anyone looked at the wind?
Mild.
Very little?
Not a lot, I don't
So just
think.
kind of a soaking straight down?
Yes.
Kind of like last night.
So
that was cold.
That bodes well for the
we were talking about before Coach came to the podium.
Yeah.
About the get-in price on a number of these games.
Yeah, really cheap.
Plenty of good seats available.
Yeah.
There are 9 teams in the National Football League out of the 32 that have 4 wins or less.
I think it's a couple of factors. Number one, when it starts to go bad, you can off-road to a tank pretty quick. We haven't done that, but we're giving it the best effort every time out, best that you can. But there's a lot of teams in this league that when it started to go bad, you lose a quarterback, you have some injury, you can off-road to a tank pretty quickly in this league. The best example of this is the Giants. That wasn't their intent to be that, but once things didn't go well with Daniel Jones, they said, to heck with it. We'll go down this road. And so I think that's part of it, right? The other part of it is a lot of these bad teams, they do not have young, exciting quarterbacks who are playing. You can get into Jacksonville for New York for like $8. There's no Trevor Lawrence. Like, that's pretty tepid fan base anyway.
Yes.
I went through it. You missed it. You were down interviewing Denzel for Sunday. But, like, you can get into more than half of the NFL games this weekend for less than $30.
Yeah, which is wild. I mean,
there's 2 really expensive tickets. There's 3 expensive, what I would say, expensive tickets.
Can I guess?
1 ultra expensive ticket, 2 really expensive, and then 1 that's sorta.
Well,
you don't need to. You know exactly.
Well, I have to look at this.
Well, you know it's Detroit and Buffalo. That's the number 1. That's the most
Detroit,
expensive.
Buffalo is probably an expensive.
There's
ticket.
3 that are expensive to that I would say are expensive. That's
Steelers, Eagles.
Yep.
And I'm going to say either Packers, Seahawks, or
Nailed
Bears,
it.
Vikings. Packers, Seahawks.
Yep.
Okay. Those
Bears, Vikings isn't too bad. It's around 100.
Okay.
But there's 8 or 9 that are less than $30 to get in.
Man.
You got 3 and 10 versus 3 and 10. You got Jags, Jets.
It's football fatigue. It's bad ball. It's the holidays. It's cold weather. It's all of this stuff. It all contributes.
And from a TV standpoint, the fact that they absolutely Colts Broncos is probably a decent price.
That is. That was like 90. Yeah,
that's a playoff game basically.
Yeah.
Problem is you have the 3 games or 4 games that you most would want to see in the 1 or 4 o'clock windows are all happening at 4:25. All of them.
I don't recall
Colts, Broncos, Bills, Lions, Bucks, Chargers, Steelers, Eagles.
I do not recall a time ever where the number 1 team from Fox went head-to-head with the number 1 team from CBS.
It happened earlier this
Usually
year,
they're
too.
split.
Yeah.
Correct.
One's at 1, one's at 4.
Yeah.
It's usually how
whoever
it goes.
doesn't have the doubleheader.
Yeah.
Z, the other big news of the day, T. Higgins got
This
rid
is
of his
interesting.
agent. His new agent is
Jamar
Jamar Chase's agent.
Yeah, what do you make of that?
I think that he's pretty upset about the feeling that the Bengals ownership. I don't know that this has to do with T, but I know that Jamar feels a way of Bengals ownership misled him this summer. He expected a new contract at the start of the year. They didn't give him one. He was very upset about it. So the fact that his agent is now representing T. Higgins, to me, it's like one of 2 polar opposites. Either it's really good news and they're going to work together and Burrow's right, and maybe they are going to bring back T. Higgins somehow. I don't know how. I don't know why anyone would take less money than what they're worth. Or it's the other, which is to hell with you. Now, they can franchise Jamar.
They could franchise either one of them.
Right, one.
One of them.
Yeah.
Which
so
would be
I guess they
Jamar.
could franchise T and then pay Jamar.
They could.
You could do that.
That would.
I
And
thought
then
they
you
were
could keep
out.
everybody
Haven't
back.
They've already. Can they do it 3 times on the franchise?
With
Because
T?
they
I think they only
franchised
did him
T
once.
twice. I
Have they
think.
already?
Yeah.
He's a second-round pick. Has he been franchised twice?
No.
That was just once, Skibbe.
I think it's twice.
Yeah. We definitely can franchise Jamar.
Hold on.
If they want to do that. I don't know why they didn't do the Jamar deal this summer.
I mean, that's been a
And now
popular. There have been numerous national pundits that have followed our lead on that.
Well, and he also, kudos to him, like he played his rear end off.
Chase?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been great. Signed his 1-year tag. I think this is the first year he's been tagged, right? Wasn't he drafted in?
He's a year ahead of no, he's the same draft as Burrow. Second-round pick. He was the first pick of the second round the same year as Burrow.
T. Higgins was second round of 2020. So he played 20, 21, 22, 23 on his rookie deal. Yeah, he's been franchised once.
Yeah. So they could do that, and then you could long-term chase and franchise Higgins. And that would be the one thing. I'm
assuming T. Higgins didn't hire a new agent to be franchised again.
Although it'd be an incredible pay. I mean, what would that be?
Yeah, it's a
$30 million?
A multiplier on it.
Yeah. It'd be a big 1-year check
they're not
on
doing
him.
that.
I wouldn't think so. It would not fit their DNA at all. Second hour of the program up next. Z going to sit down with safety Juan Thornhill. Coming up next, you'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Valley Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Valley Bet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio, here with Browns safety Juan Thornhill. And Juan, I know you got to play them in the preseason, but I have to imagine this is one that you had on your calendar for a very, very long time, facing your former team, the Chiefs, this Sunday. What's kind of, just take us through your emotions, your thoughts about it?
I mean, honestly, I'm going to treat it like any ordinary game. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun just because you get to see a lot of familiar faces and everything like that. Seeing some former teammates and get to talk a little bit more trash, but it's any ordinary game, but just a little more talking maybe from my end.
Yeah, and you have the gift of gab. You don't mind talking out there. When you did face them in the preseason, you got a pick. I'm sure it'd be great for you to get your first one here with the Cleveland Browns against the Kansas City Chiefs. You say you take it as a normal game, but listen, we're all human beings. We all understand the deal. So I'm sure it's a game where you feel like, man, I want to go show them what it used to be like with Juan Thornhill wearing the red, and now he's wearing the orange and brown.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to make him miss me. You know, that's my whole goal, get an interception. Hopefully I can take it to my former safeties coach and hand it to him. Like, see, this is what y'all been missing on. Y'all should have kept me here. But, nah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like you said, I got one against them last year in the preseason. It was a great feeling, like just being able to take one to the house, and it feel a little bit more, a little better this year if I got one during the regular season, being able to take it to the house here in Cleveland.
So when you kind of think about your journey here, this has not gone the way that you wanted in the sense of last year you deal with the calf. This year you work so hard to get it back, then the calf pops up, then it pops up again. How have you kind of been able to emotionally navigate? You come in and you're here to change the culture, and we have a nice run last year. This year has not gone that way. This is the first time you've ever experienced anything like this in the NFL. What's this whole thing just been like for you? I mean, it sucks. When you're not winning, it definitely sucks. But like with the calf, last year it was pretty brutal. Like, I didn't really know how to handle it because I've never really been injured. Yep. Missed a lot of football games. But the first time it happened, I'm just sitting there like I'm stressed out just because I'm like, I'm missing all these games. I want to get back on the field. But I would say it's a little different this year just because like I went through that last year and I found ways to like get over that and not just like be selfish and worry about myself. Like when I was injured, I was just finding ways to make my team better, and that was like the main thing is just, staying positive. And my daughter and wife, that definitely helped for sure. Like when I get home, I'm not just stressed out. I can get there, see her smile, and it just puts a smile on my face. Yeah, there's nothing like daddy's little girl. She's always thrilled to see you no matter what.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling. In your room, you've missed a little bit of time. For the most part, it's been one of the healthier spots that we've had on this team. How's kind of that camaraderie been? And you guys are in dime so often, 3 on the field, the communication. How's all that going?
I would say my injury is actually, a blessing in certain ways, just because you don't just have, like, some teams got just 2 safeties that they constantly use all the time. And then when one safety go down, they start to panic a little bit. But with my injury, I think it helped, like, other guys get the opportunity to play and show that they can play. And now coaches are like, okay, we got some guys that actually we could sub in there, take some reps off some of these other guys, have everyone fresh towards the end of the game. So, like, with me and Ronnie, when I was hurt, he stepped up, played a big role. He was a starter making a lot of plays. I get back, now he take a couple reps off of me, honestly. So we both are fresh all game and moving fast.
What one thing, and obviously going 4-0 is the goal, but what's one thing you want to accomplish for yourself over these final 4 games here?
Just it's simple. Just play my best football, show Cleveland, or if I'm going somewhere else, that I'm a reliable source, a guy that can just, step up and make a play, and a guy that you can trust. That's the one thing that I just want to do, and also show them that I can stay healthy, because I've been struggling with that the past 2 years, but I hope I'm over the calf injury, man. Like, I don't know what it is, but hopefully that was my last one.
Well, it's like Shelby said, are you part of the solution or a part of the problem? We certainly hope you are a part of the solution here for a long time, Juan. So thanks for the time. Best of luck against your former team, and we're hoping you get that one. That'll be very, very sweet for you.
Definitely. Thank you.
That's one of those things when you play against – we got a couple of those. I mean, obviously Juan going back up against Kansas City and Kareem back here. Those are special moments when you get those.
Absolutely. And, for Juan, I think it's and we talked about in the interview there, like, his time here, unfortunately, has not gone in many ways the way that he thought it was going to go. Yeah. Still looking for his first interception with the Browns. He's had a lot of injuries.
The injury stuff's crazy. Like, you just never would have foreseen that.
Been so tough. And so, this is one I'm sure he would be very pleased to actually get out there and get that pick. Do that, do something significant. So it would be good for him.
Yep, it would be. OBM, the preferred provider of copiers and document service for your Cleveland Browns. They'll tackle any size office. That number is 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Your keys to a Browns victory and your Sunday forecast coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans, prepare to boost your game day with the Browns Bingo Day presented by Ballybet. December 15th, Ballybet giving away over $10,000 in prizes. Play Browns Bingo on the Browns app for free. Presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for your keys to victory on Sunday against the 12-1 Kansas City Chiefs. And for that, we turn to Dr. Z.
All right. First and foremost, we cannot turn the football over. Since Jameis has been the starting quarterback, we've had a lot of fun, but we also have had the most giveaways in the National Football League. This Chiefs team is 12-1 despite having a negative turnover differential. So the notion that you would let them have a positive turnover differential and expect to win feels like a fool's errand.
Yes.
So I don't believe that is – you have got to take care of the football and obviously try to take it away on the other side. Mahomes, first 7 games of the year threw a pick in all 7. He has only thrown a pick in 1 game in his last 6, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So that might be a little bit tougher there. Number 2, this game's going to be all about explosives. They try to limit explosives, but they will blitz and leave themselves open to it. We've got to hit explosives on offense, and we have got to limit their explosives. They don't hit many, but when they do, it's automatic points for that football team. So that would be number 2. And then the third key to victory, I think this game is going to come down to who can control the line of scrimmage, because we have struggled to run the football. We need to do a better job of that. We also need to do a good job of stopping their run game. They're not afraid to be a physical downhill running football team with Pacheco and with Kareem Hunt. So we've got to control the line of scrimmage on both sides. And then when both teams are in obvious passing situations, I think the team that generates the most pressure, which was a great topic you had there in the over-unders, the team that's able to do that is going to have the most success against the other quarterback. Both of these quarterbacks will kill you from clean pockets.
If they pull this off and they win 3 straight Super Bowls, is that it in our lifetime in terms of impressive feats by one NFL franchise? Or is it still Patriots over the long?
Well,
Patriots, what do they got, 6? Brady Belichick got 6, and they lost 2 others. Played in 8, lost 6.
So if they win,
they'd win 3 in a row.
And they would have won 4 out of 7.
4 out of 7 and 3 in a row, which is obviously unprecedented.
So the Niners won 81, 84, 88, 89.
Yeah. Cowboys won 91, 2, and 5.
But that's only 3.
That's 3. They won 3 in 4 years. They won 3 in 4 years. They won 92, 93, 95. 3 in 4 years, which is Kansas City's already done. So they've already done. And there's no insight to this either. I mean, he's in the prime of his life.
The Niners' 80s run was pretty good.
The Steelers won 4 in the 70s. In the 70s. 49ers won 4 in the 80s.
Yep.
3 in a row, though.
3 in a row would be pretty outrageous. What's the Patriots'
The Patriots
best
won
run?
6. Well, they won the first 3 in the early 2000s. Then they had kind of like that break when like the Steelers won a couple, Manning won 2, Eli won 2, and then you had the
All right, so they won in 01, 03, 04. So they won 3 out of 4, same as Dallas.
Yeah.
And then they won 14, 16, 18, so 3 out of 5. So, but they never won 4 in a decade.
No, they won 6.
To do that over 2 decades, though, is pretty outrageous. 6 in 2 decades. The Niners won 5 in a decade and a half, but then not again.
What would the Cowboys be then if you go over? Well, that'd be more like 30 years. I mean, well, how many did the Cowboys win in the 70s? Because they'd have the 3 in the 90s and the early 90s.
Cowboys won 92, 93, 95, as you said. They won 71, 77. That's it.
No, so that's it. So they would have 4 in a 15-year period. Yeah. That ain't it.
So it's the Niners.
The Steelers.
The Steelers won 4 in 6 years. They won 74, 75, 78, 79.
Oh, well, then that's it. 4 in 6 years that's the one.
4 and 6.
That's the most concentrated amount of greatness.
Yeah.
In a short period. That's what they're chasing. Is that?
I'm trying to see. Hold on.
Because this would give them 4 and 5.
This would give them 4 in. Hold on. 1. Let's see, from 2001. So the Niners 5 in 15 they're 1 ahead of the Patriots.
In terms of the
Patriots won 5 in 16. They won 5 in 15. And then the Chiefs, I mean, that's pretty – those are the ones. I mean, 4 in a decade is pretty ridiculous. So they would – if they win this one, they will have won 3 in a row and 4 of 6.
So that would equal the Steelers' run in the 70s, which was 4 and 6.
Yep. I mean, think about that. To even get to where we're talking about with the Niners or the Patriots, they still have to win like 2 more from where they are right now.
They have to win 2 more in Mahomes' career, which if he gets to this one, if he gets 4 and 6, pretty good odds he's going to win 2 more because there's going to be another incarnation of him.
Yep.
They've proven they can win a lot of different ways. Yep. Reed's only 67. When they won their 6th in New England, you thought, well, that's it. I mean, no one's going to get near that. And here we are already. Like if they get the one this year, this will it's going to reset that entirely.
Totally.
It's very much like Tiger with Jack.
This is a big one for them, though. They don't win
historically.
this
This is mammoth because this puts you in. This puts you in with the steel curtain in terms of 4 and 6.
Yep.
And that's the only precedent for that. The thing that made Belichick Brady so great was it's one quarterback, one coach.
It's also kind of like Popovich and the Spurs, where they had like the two.
Yeah, two constants.
Yeah. And also two kind of periods of winning titles.
Also true. Yeah. Very different different eras of that. Two different styles. I suppose the Lakers had a little of that too, with Shaq, Kobe first time around, and then Shaq Gasol Kobe Gasol for the last two. But it's all time greatness is what you're chasing, and it's the thing that's interesting about this Chiefs team this year is, as Adam Teicher was on with us earlier, they are not elite defensively like they were a year ago. Mahomes last year they weren't great offensively. This year they haven't been great. But you have that crazy stat: 15 in a row, 1-score games. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
I mean that's nuts,
including playoffs.
Yeah,
all of it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that means, and the other part about it is because I'm pretty sure when they lost to the Raiders on Christmas, wasn't that Christmas Eve?
Yeah, one of the more stupefying losses of the last half dozen years in the
Christmas,
NFL.
So it was Christmas. So they lost that
Wasn't
one.
it the Raiders didn't get a first down or something? And
I don't think they completed a pass after
that's
the
what
first
it was.
quarter.
Yeah, no passes completed.
Like after the first quarter.
Yeah, they lost.
So that was a 1-score game on December 25th, 23. That means their run since then, they have won 15 straight 1-score games. Man. From a year ago. So that basically means all the playoff wins had to have been 1-score.
1-score, yep.
Because they've won 10 this year. So that means they had 4 playoff wins that were 1-score and 1 more regular season win that was 1-score that season.
Yeah. Yeah. You're chasing down some real history. Is what you're doing. If you are watching on the YouTube stream, you no doubt have asked, if you missed the beginning of the show, what is all that stuff? Well, here's what it is. It is all sorts of memorabilia that you too can purchase thanks to our friends at Primetime Sports and Framing, the preferred framing partner of the Cleveland Browns. Mystery boxes that are in studio today. We opened these earlier and got signed items from Joe Thomas, Eric Metcalf, David Njoku, a custom tearaway tandem jersey featuring Greg Pruitt and Cleo Miller. If you're headed to the game this Sunday against the Chiefs, be sure to check out their booths outside sections 101, 117, and 138, and within the 7-Up City Club to learn more. The way that it works, there's a $150 box, there's a $250 box. In the $150 box, you get one mystery Browns autographed jersey and one mystery autographed Browns 8x10. So that's what that one is. And then in the $250 box, you're going to get, this is the Dog Treats box, one signed certified jersey, one signed and certified mini helmet, one signed and certified picture, and one signed and certified football. So that is what you get for that.
And then other box over there is like a Cleveland.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Cavs
really is.
And
yeah, go. What is that
Guardians
one?
And
what do we get there?
Browns.
All right, this is Cleveland Treats. Now it doesn't say how much. Oh, this one's $250 as well.
Yep.
This one's going to get you 4 signed items. Look for a signed and certified jersey. Look for a signed and certified mini helmet. Look for a signed and certified 8x10, and for a signed and certified baseball, football, or basketball. What they have on here is they've got a Donovan Mitchell jersey.
Yep.
They got a Hoff and a Chase Winovich mini helmet. They've got a Jim Brown football. They've got a Jose Ramirez signed picture, and then the basketball is signed.
Those are examples, but that isn't necessarily what you're
correct.
going to get.
Yes, these
it's a
are
mystery
examples.
box.
Mystery.
It's a mystery box.
Could be any number of things.
Mr.
Cavalier.
Got to be Austin Carr. Yeah, it's got to be
Mr. Cavalier.
I like Donovan Mitchell, Jim Brown. So on this box, I'm just going to go what's on the outside of it. You've got Donovan Mitchell. You got Bob Feller. You got Nick Chubb.
Be a hell of a box.
Hold on. You got Nick Chubb.
Yep.
You got Jim Brown.
Yep.
You got Joe Thomas.
Yep.
You got Jose Ramirez.
Yep.
And you got Mr. Cavalier. And you got Chase Winovich.
One of those is unlike the others.
Fact.
And also an incredibly elite set of examples of what could be in play.
Well, yeah, they're don't
you suppose they balance
spectrum.
it a little bit? They got to balance it. Like there's, you know what I mean?
It's got to be like
a little
when
balanced.
you rip a pack of cards. Like
Yeah.
every 5 or 10 of these is going to have a like.
Yeah.
gem.
Maybe a cool little Christmas gift, though.
There you go.
I think it's a great Christmas gift.
They'll be outside sections 101, 117, 138, and within the 7-Up City Club. The Sunday forecast for Huntington Bank Field Sunday kickoff, a high of 41, 75% chance of rain. Coming up next, a little segment we like to call Do Pay Attention.
Do you like straight cash?
Do pay attention to the scores. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk, serious lawyer, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Well, we've reached that point, kids. Time for a little segment we like to say, do pay attention to the scores. Week 15,
to
baby.
The scores. Because you don't score till you score.
Till you score, Ostriker.
Till you score.
What's an appropriate age for a kid to tell your kid to watch that?
High school?
Yeah.
So NBC and all of his idiot buddies, they're in this stage now where they watch horror movies all the time. Like that's the word they're whirled in right now. And I argue that I would much rather them watch like these. Like I think horror movies are nonsense. Like I'd much rather them watch The Hangover and all of those type of movies. And
would you?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that.
So you would choose violence over
horror movies? Are like that they're rooted in some type of supernatural like fakeness. Typically.
Yeah,
Depends
sometimes.
Like, Hangover and are talking about like very accessible bad things to do in your real life.
I don't know. There's a lot of murder and mayhem in the world.
There is, but I mean, like, I don't think they'd be fazed watching The Penguin per se.
That's not a horror. That's not the horror they're watching.
No,
they're watching like Saw 2 and
well, yeah,
that
but that's
type
what
of
I'm saying.
crap.
Like, you know that's not like that's not real.
Yeah.
And if it were, like, cops are.
So I'd rather watch that than like Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers, I think, is a little bit different than Hangover.
Old School.
Old School's a little.
I'm not
sure
about
Old School. Not sure about Old School.
I think High School.
Wedding Crashers.
When
they're
did
not
you
even
see
getting
Fast
out
Times?
They're not even getting out of the opening scene in Wedding Crashers.
You're worried about like I assume they've seen all of that. They have phones.
It is possible. Feels likely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that's more like real. I watched Fast Times when it either was 8th grade or freshman year when I first watched Fast Times. Loved it.
Of course you did. Yeah, I did too.
Absolutely.
So it was like that. Was it Porky's? There was a bunch of those that were kind of in that realm.
Animal House.
Yeah, that was
Daddy
all.
Shack.
It was probably we were probably around that age, 7th, 8th grade, when you saw that stuff.
I'm saying 8th, 9th for me. That's what it's.
I would tend to think 8th grade, but probably into the first year or two of high school.
When you saw that stuff, was more that late?
I feel like yes.
Revenge of the Nerds. I definitely saw in middle school.
Look.
Montana might be different, brother. Might be.
Might
grow up a little bit faster.
My mother.
I think you might be right.
My mother ruled with an iron fist. She's a fantastic woman, but my friends called her the warden for a reason.
Yeah.
Like
I don't encourage any of it, but like I feel like you got to be
that.
close to this type of stuff.
You said he's turning 13.
Yeah, next week.
I mean, so 13 PG-13. I mean, he's getting in the mix.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Time to get
I'd say
crazy
8th grade. Summer going into 8th grade.
Yeah. That's where you're at.
Okay, let me take a step back then. Like, what's going on with him? Like, for a while there, he was very into, having his girl and was all into that. Is that still, or is he now like, I'm trying to?
Are they still knocking on random doors?
Oh no, they still do all of those type of things. Oh, we had a great. I mean, I don't know how much. I'm probably getting in trouble for sharing this. Or what the hell?
We're just gonna have to shorten the score.
So I told him. I said last week he had a bunch of idiots over, and I said, "You cannot do that. It's 20 degrees." You cannot leave the property. I don't know how strongly I can tell you this. And I said,
you just did. I thought
if any of you leave the property, I will call your parents, who are all my friends, and no matter what time of night it is, they will be coming to pick you up.
And you're out.
And that's it. Yeah. There's a zero tolerance for it. So they were very, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And there was one who was trying, no names, please, who was trying to like go against it, and I knew exactly which one would do it. And the other three were like, dude, no, we're not doing it. So instead, Saturday morning, I get an alert on my phone that says you have made X amount of dollars worth of international calls.
Sweet.
And I go, is this a scam? Like, is somebody
right? Is this real?
Is this real? But then it was in the T-Mobile app that it is, and so I clicked in the app, and sure enough, there was X amount of dollars in international calls. So at the point, I don't even know like the kids' numbers. Like, I don't know my kids' numbers. I have no idea what they are. Like, they're saved, and that's it. I don't know your number. I don't know any of you guys' numbers. It's just saved, and it's a contact, and that's it.
Call Bo.
That's right. So I go, what were you doing last night, buddy?
I have so many thoughts of
and
what was actually being called.
And he goes, he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, you're calling Buenos Aires and Spain.
Something
so
tells
what are you
me
doing?
It's going to get back to me.
Oh, no, those are free calls, Dad. Those are free calls. We have international plan, free calls. No.
They're not free.
They're not.
But why are you calling there anyway, free or not?
They were calling like McDonald's in Buenos Aires and prank calling them like Jerky Boys.
That's pretty great. I love the Jerky Boys.
Yeah. I mean, we all did that. We all did prank calls.
Absolutely.
But in those days, there weren't caller ID. Like, it was so much easier.
Dude, I couldn't do a prank. My dad he just would have sensed it and picked up the phone and started screaming at me. There's no way.
But if you had
I lived under such yoke.
I lived under a yoke too, but like, we definitely did prank calls, but you couldn't do it.
To the right parent's house, you could.
What would you? Because when we were kids, there wasn't caller ID, but if you did, was it star 69?
Yeah, you call them right back,
and then you could get the number back, and then you could call that number right back. Yeah. But yeah, with everything with caller ID, they thought the only way they could do it without getting caught is if they called overseas. So the idiots racked up, and I'm like, well, obviously you're paying for this, and so he did, and he was fine. I didn't know. Okay, ignorance is no excuse.
We're calling McDonald's.
Yeah, and like doing like prank calls
and saying what? What was there? What was?
Well, I don't know.
Did you ask? You didn't say what's your goat? Like call. I'm the
so,
Buenos Aires McDonald's.
I was
call me. What? Let me hear the bit.
Floored at like the stupidity of it. I understood like how you'd get.
I want to hear the bit.
I'll ask him. I
want
the
bit.
What the bit is, and I'll text
Give me the bit. I want
it.
In fact, you know what I'd like him to do?
Try it on you.
Call me, and I'll answer the phone as McDonald's in Buenos Aires, and I want to give me the bit.
See how it goes?
Yeah. I want to hear
what they
the
were
bit.
doing. That's what they were up to.
Okay. Seems wholesome.
Yeah.
I want to know the bit, though.
All right. I'll figure out what that is.
All right, thank you.
How did we do last week?
How did we do?
Christmas is coming early.
9
for a
and
bunch
4
of
and
kids.
8 and 5 make people happy. That's our name. We are now a combined, thank you very little, we are now a combined 50 games over 500. That's right. I said it. 50 games over 500. Well, actually, pardon me, we're 52 games over 500
there you go.
because after last night. So there you go. Combined 52, each of us in the mid-20s. We are, follow me, follow him, follow both of us. Sometimes you can figure out on the Splitsville.
Figure it out on your own?
Often we hit almost every game. I mean, we're on a heater now. I'm just going to pick on a random week. So the last time that we had a losing week was week 11, 12, 13, 14. And we're talking big wins now.
Yeah, huge.
Week 12 was 11 and 2 and 10 and 3. Week 13 we're both 10 and 6. Week 14 9 and 4, 8 and 5. Last 3 weeks we really put some hay in the barn.
Yep.
You're
12
welcome.
games, 11 minutes. We welcome you to week 15 of the Scores to Sunday we go. Gross to kick things off. The Bengals leaving Northern Kentucky, headed to Nashtucky. That's right. It's the battle for Kentucky. Bengals visiting the Titans.
Bengals by $1 billion.
Same.
Fair enough. We move on to the NFC. The Commies. Marshawn Lattimore finally going to make his debut. It's going to come against his former team and the frisky New Orleans Saints, still alive at 5-8 in that awful NFC South. Saints hosting the Commies. Nate.
I mean, they're starting that Hainer kid, right?
Yeah,
I think
it just feels like it's got to be there's no way that we're going to go all this chalk is going to actually get it done because I feel like who in their right mind wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But I still think the Commies by 100.
Same. Hayner's starting. Jaden Daniels back in Louisiana for the first time since he won the Heisman at LSU last year. It's on the turf. I think I'm with you. In what world can the Saints cover? Can they manufacture enough? I just
don't think they score enough. I think Washington will score.
Yeah. Fast track all of it.
The biggest score of 2024. I can say it confidently.
Got to be. Is that fact or do you? I can't recall one bigger.
It wasn't a Denver
trying to
at
think
17.
of another one that's even
Detroit.
remotely close. Ratbirds on the road visiting the G-Men. No Drew Lock. Tommy DeVito taking on a very, very healthy Baltimore Ravens team, Bo.
They're coming off a bye. I mean, this screams 28-3. It's just so many points, but I don't see how the Giants score much at all with Tommy DeVito. and the Ravens are sitting there rested.
And the Ravens don't
Just
screw
run.
around. They will beat you.
I think so. I think so too. I know it's a lot, but I'm good with it.
This is what I think, and you're not going to like it. I think the Ravens are up in this game like 30-10, like comfortable. They just need to win this game. This game is not necessarily about style points. And I would remind you that coming up the very next week, December the 21st, is Ravens versus Steelers for the division. So I could see them getting up huge and just like pulling people.
Yeah, just like
we just need to win this game. And then DeVito does a little thing and gabagool.
Sean Stiletto's slinging gabagool
and then
on the
he gets in
sidelines.
there. So like the Ravens win it like 31-17, something just silly
that would
like
do it.
that.
That's all it would take.
That's what I think. I think they have to have their eye. Let's make sure we get the win. Let's get this game in hand, and then let's chill.
Yeah.
Let's all stay healthy. I mean, we've had your boy Pony over there, Gibbe, your favorite radio host for your favorite team, is advocating for like the Steelers to rest everybody, because if the Steelers beat the Ravens next week, they win the division. Period. It's over. That's it. That's all they have to do. So he's like, why are we playing anybody this week against the Eagles? We should sit everybody.
I don't know who that is.
Afternoon Drive.
Gibbe's
Maze
boy.
Carmen's nemesis.
And Gibbe's boy.
No, it's a world I don't know that
Yeah,
world.
I don't know that world.
I don't know that world. Yeah.
All right. Up next, we keep calling them frisky, but they've lost 3 in a row. The Panthers are 3-10. I think they're still frisky, and they're hosting. I don't know what.
Is this line right?
Yep. First time Carolina's been favored in like 2.5 years.
Yeah,
I
it's
did get it
Carolina
right on the
hosting
scores,
Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dallas is
I feel like
4-2
take
on the road.
If they're favored, you got to take them.
I'm taking Carolina too. I think they're
Yep.
favored. This is actually one of the higher medium tickets. Like there's a real excitement about how they're playing. They could have. Chuba Hubbard dropped fumbles. Was that against Kansas City when he did that?
It was against Tampa. They should have beaten
Tampa when he fumbled. Yeah, they went to the ropes.
That's how, like, the
they're knocking on the door.
Tampa. Chuba Hubbard is now the
I
sign.
would say this. I think
Panthers.
the tickets are up because it's the Cowboys and they travel well.
You're probably right. There's probably some of
By
that.
the way,
but like I also think there's a little bit of
Cowboys
excitement.
suck.
Raise your hand if you know what Xavier Leggett or Leggett? I think it's Leggett. Xavier Leggett had for Thanksgiving.
Gabe raised his hand.
Young Gabriel, come to the microphone.
Young Gabriel.
Quickly.
Young Gabriel, what did Xavier Leggett have for Thanksgiving?
Per Amin Ra and Equinemius St.
Well,
Brown's
per him.
podcast,
Yes.
it was a raccoon.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
The hell is wrong with you?
How are you going to argue with that? They're clearly winning.
I want to know more about his upbringing in Mullins, South Carolina.
He
That's
is
what I- that's what I
real. He sounds like
He
sounds like the
Waterboy.
assistant coach from Waterboy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. There's a lot of Bobby Boucher in the way he goes about his business talks.
All right, so we gave scores. Did we
Yep,
get those
yep,
in?
Panthers.
All right.
Panthers.
On to the inmate game of the week. I'm going to call it now.
They will pay you to go to get this game.
Jets at Jacksonville. We take you to the armpit of America for the Armpit Bowl of 2020. Well, the only thing worse would be Giants-Jets. The Jags, Evan Ingram out for the year, torn labrum. Breece Hall expected to play now on Sunday for the Jets. Bo Bishop.
Jets 17, Jaguars 16.
They got to win at some point. I mean, come on. The Jags have nobody. Mac
They
Jones
just won at Tennessee last week.
Exactly.
Well, that's who the Jets are. Jets haven't won in 2 months.
Jets, Jets. Ever since they stopped showing Fireman Ed, and he said they're freezing me out. They've been cursed, but they're going to be on the road in Jacksonville. They'll jump into the pools. To quote Taylor Swift, they will be clean, and they will win this ball game.
By enough?
Jets 30, Jags 1.
Okay.
Jordan liked all that conversation.
Yep.
This is the game of the
Final
the morning
1 o'clock game that is not the Browns and the Chiefs. Miami playing for their playoff lives as they try to get back into this.
Cut Odell today.
6-7, visiting
Mutually
the
agreed to part
8-5
ways,
Houston Texans. Nathan.
This is the best game in the 1 o'clock window outside of ours.
They waived OBJ today.
They
Dolphins,
did.
Yeah,
by the way.
mutually agreed to part ways.
Hardly knew you.
I got to tell you, I like the idea of Miami in a dome on a fast track. I think
too.
it suits them well. They're catching a few. I don't know if they win it outright, but I think they're in the mix. I'll give them the outright win, though. And a little bit of a shootout ski, 27-26.
Yeah, it felt like 28-27 to me, 30-28, something like that. So I'm with you. Fins.
To the 4 o'clock window, and oh, what a window it is.
Keon
Coleman will play.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid is questionable. Buffalo on the road, although they've been the home team in this stadium before. Buffalo traveling to Detroit City to take on the Detroit Lions. I think Buffalo's got to keep winning a little bit just to be in that second or third spot. You don't want to drop to 4.
Well, it tells you all you need to know what the score is on this, how much people respect Buffalo. I just made a deal like a month and a half ago that no matter what it is, I pick Detroit, and it's worked really well. So Detroit in a classic, 34-31.
Love it. I don't see who wouldn't take Buffalo here, except for us.
Yeah.
Because you're saying they're very capable of winning this game, and you're getting some on the other side. But the Leons, it's just there's something magical there. I think this could be a Super Bowl preview.
It'd be amazing if it was.
It would be awesome because you know some fan base is going to have.
Yeah, I'm not sure either city would survive it the night of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Correct.
Leons,
baby.
Next, big one. The battle for Pennsylvania. The Pittsburgh Steelers on the road visiting Fly, Eagles, Fly. Nathan.
Steelers are I'm going against my conventional theory that when it doesn't make any sense that I should 100% take the Eagles because it just seems way too big, but I just think maybe it just is that easy. The Steelers are too good to be giving this many points.
Agreed. Same. And I could see him winning outright.
Totally.
For sure.
Russ is playing great.
He's playing great. Yep. I think what they're very similar for me now with Russ to it's a little bit of a Detroit, kind of like Detroit. Like no matter what it is, I'm good. They'll handle it.
Well, I've made the mistake of going against them all year, so I'm clearly not. And maybe that'll be the jinx. Sorry, Peepaw. Maybe I jinxed them.
The third big game in that 4 o'clock window, playoff aspirations on the line. Can the Broncos hold on to that final playoff spot? Broncos hosting the Fighting Yellowstones. The Colts are now 6-7 on the year. Bo Bishop.
Who's quarterbacking Indy?
Richardson.
Broncos by 11.
Same.
He's going to throw it right to somebody.
Yeah.
Up next, the Arizona Cardinals. Struggling is the answer that we're looking for. 6-7 now on the year. Cardinals
I could care less
hosting
about the Jets
the 3-10 Patriots. Nathan.
The great show, Nate. What a hero.
Cardinals have lost 3 in a row.
Was he in a fur coat?
Yes. I don't know. It feels like a massive number for Arizona. I'm going to take them, though. Give me the Cardinals at home in an ugly 17-10 game.
I'll go same but different. Cards win 17-12.
All right. Final one in the 4 o'clock window. Tampa Bay on the road, 7-6. Right now atop the NFC South, visiting Los Angeles and the Chargers at SoFi.
Is Ladd McConkey playing?
I have no idea.
I'll look.
There's a lot of injury reports that are just now coming out. It's super late in the day, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's one of the – I drafted him. He was limited in Wednesday's practice, limited in Thursdays. So that would seem to make you think he's trending that way. I drafted him in fantasy, and then I had so many injuries at running back, I had to cut somebody and had to cut him early before he started to go, and I rued the day because I knew that he was capable of this there.
Quite. I think Chargers are the better team here. I think Tampa Bay's been kind of like trying to lose games and escaping, and I think Chargers will capitalize on that. Give me the Chargers 24-20.
Yeah, in the words of the former governor, the governator, go Chargers, go.
Sunday night foosball, the Packers on the road. Cheeseheads going to the Northwest, having some coffee in Seattle. Nathan. It's a big game.
Peter LaFleur.
I'm not staying up
Packers
all day for it.
love 30. Seahawks 20.
Same. All right, our score coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Sunday, University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Browns Game Day, Ken and Gerard, 11 o'clock. Browns Kickoff Show, Andy and Tyvis. And then kickoff from Huntington Bank Field, Andrew, Z, and Gerard. The Browns hosting the 12-1, two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. How do you see it, Dr. Z?
All I need is a miracle.
All I need is you.
Browns 24, Chiefs 21.
Beatdown, Browns 72, Chiefs 4.
30.
Woo! Take that, Mahomes. Woo! Welcome to Cleveland, buddy. Next level's coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.